sa pagpasalamat sa Panginoon sa sangguniang panlalawigan, pinanguluhan sa atong vice-gobernador para sa oportunidad nga makasaysay ako sa atong gipangbuhat ug nahimo sulod sa unang usa ka gatos nga adlaw sa atong pangutangdanan ubos sa administrasyong Yapri Lampagos. On tourism as Bohol's industry. Kapin sa usa ka dekada ang nakalabay, ang bituon sa Bohol nagpabiling nagsidlak isip usa sa nagunang tourism destination sa atong nasud. Dili lamang para sa mga langyawang bisita, apil na ni ana ang 40 ka milyones na atong mga domestic tourists. Our star has continued to rise in tourism. According to the Department of Tourism, the DOT, Bohol is today a stand-alone tourism destination. Once upon a time, this sleepy province had to be attached to Cebu as a one-day tour package. But today, the reverse is true. It is Cebu that is packaged into the Bohol tour experience. Our Bohol is sleepy no more. To sustain our upward trajectory, we need to understand what makes us unique from other Philippine destinations. Sapagkat tinuod, daghan ang atong maanindot nga kadagatan, suba, usay, langob ug kalasangan. Pero sa tinuod ra, dili lang kita makaangkon nga kitara ang naay ingani nga talan-awon dinhi sa Pilipinas. We are not the only province with all of this. Bohol cannot even claim to have a monopoly on the tarsier, as it is also found on Samar, Leyte, and Mindanao. But what stands out about Bohol are the attributes of a tropical paradise plus a load of special extras like iconic geological formations playfully called the Chocolate Hills. They keep on stressing this in the DOT. Only you have the Chocolate Hills. But more than that, we are interspersed with 8 churches designated as national cultural treasures, 2 important cultural properties, 6 national historical landmarks, and 2 national heritage houses. The thing is, what makes us unique is that Bohol is a complete package that offers ecotourism with faith-based and culture tourism in a compact island setting, reachable through good roads, an international airport, and half a dozen ports, which makes it well connected to other islands in central Philippines and northern Mindanao. Mauni ang rason nga sa atong unang usa ka gatos ka adlaw, atong gihatagan og importansya ug pagtagad ang pagprotekta sa atong kinaiyahan ug kalikupan ug pagpukaw sa atong kulturang bulanon para sa culture-based tourism. In order to protect our environment, ang atong kinaiyahan, naglusad kita og programa nga nagtinguhang magtanom og minilyon nga bakhaw ug mga mangrove sulod sa 3 ka tuig. This is to protect our coastal marine resources and watershed areas, to fight erosion, and to provide a wide array of fruit trees in support of food security and tourism. Part of this program is also planting endemic flowers to beautify the entire island. But for this to be sustained, we need more sectoral partners to be part of the cause, partnered with the municipal LGUs for the planting materials nurseries. I am therefore very happy that many of you sectoral partners are here, because we cannot do this without you on the ground, planting those trees and beautifying our island. Addressing the water issue in Bohol. We must stress that the planting of trees is intimately related to water issues in the province. We have to continue protecting our watersheds if we are to provide water for Bohol today and in the near future. Dili bagyo ang atong gikahadlukan nga kalamidad sa Bohol. Ang nagpadayong hulga sa Huwaw o El Nino nga mooy nakahubas sa mga tinubdan sa atong tubig maoy angayan natong pangandaman. Mao kini ang realidad nga angay natong dawaton kay dili mahimo nga mawad-an kita og tubig sulod sa upat ngadto sa 6 ka bulan matag tuig. It seems that when the summer months come, we just sit back and accept that this is the reality. We have to accept it. In times we have water, the water is unsafe, as most water is supplied from shallow ground wells that are untreated. Before long, unless we ban water extraction from shallow underground sources, we will be reduced to an island province of sinkholes with a very high case of kidney disease for our citizens. There is actually an urban legend nga moadto ka sa Cebu, magpatreat ka sa kidney disease. Ang doktor, moingon nimo, taga Bohol ka doy, taga Bohol ka day. They say it's an urban legend. All of us here must understand that this water problem affects all of us. Those of us who live in urban Bohol are affected in terms of sanitation, health, and convenience. Those who live in rural Bohol, ang atong mga mag-uuma, are not only affected health-wise, but continue to stay in poverty due to the impact on their meager crops due to lack of water. Even as we speak today, this is a crisis with at least 10 municipalities having declared states of calamities, and I understand that about 5 municipalities are going to follow. Sa nagkaduol nga panahon sa Huwaw, ang posibleng maigo sa problema sa tubig mo abot og kapin sa 100,000 ka mag-uuma. More than 100,000 farmers will be hit. It is for this reason that I have ordered the immediate identification of critical areas where the LGU, our mayors, and other agencies, the national as well as the provincial, can assist in, number 1, distributing emergency drinking water and food packs. Number 2, establishing drip irrigation systems from possible water sources. We have to move them away from rice and corn and other crops. If it is possible to move them to drip irrigation through open water sources, this is what we have to do right now while there is still some time. And also, while we have time, organizing farmers into work teams, into a cash for work program, so that during this time when the rains have not yet come, we can repair water catchment basins and impounding systems to prepare for the main rains to come. And along the way, as we move towards the main rains next year, is to campaign very hard to have a culture of water conservation and water harvesting in Bohol. To date, we are finalizing the action plan after having met Bohol's mayors yesterday. I would like to thank the mayors who were here yesterday for implementation in the coming weeks. What is important is we are confronting this complex issue now. For the non-farm communities, the provincial government, together with our mayors, and where possible, private sector investors will be working together. And where applicable, will do so clustering together barangays and even municipalities around safe and reliable sources of water to address the issue of supplying water to our fellow Bolanons. It seems that we cannot wait for the big-ticket investors costing billions of pesos in civil works for impounding systems. My challenge to the mayors is that we have to come together, identify possible sources of water, and try to supply water to clustered barangays and even clustered municipalities. And that is why the challenge is for us to be working very closely together. On the issue of water for waterless island barangays, clustering barangays will also be the strategy we will adopt to provide water to places where people have practically given up the hope of having water. There are places where people have practically given up that they will have water in this lifetime. I am referring to waterless island barangays. Sa tanang walay tubig o tinubdan sa tubig nga mga barangay, ang mga barangay sa isla mao ang pinakaluoy kay ang atong mga kaigsuunang bulanon didto nataw, namuyo ug mamatay didto taliwala sa kamatuoran o realidad nga lisod ang estado sa panubig didtong dapita. They've accepted that they will live, they were born there, they will die there without water. I'm therefore happy to inform you that 5 desalination plants supplying minimum of 11,000 to 15,000 liters per day, the size of a container van. Desalination plants for drinking water are now undergoing procurement, where they will be initially installed in the following island barangays: Pandanon in Getafe, Hingutanan West in Bien Unido, Bilang-Bilangan in Bien Unido, Gindakpan in Talibon, and Kataban in Talibon. Kani nga mga islang napili tungod kay na silang andam nga luna or yuta nga kabutangan sa desalination plants ug duol sa ubang isla nga nagpalibot kanila. This is the initial stage. These are the island barangays that have the land and are within striking distance of other islands out into the sea. Protecting the environment in Panglao. In the last 100 days, we have also been hard at work with hotel operators and the local government of Panglao and other government agencies to the province-led Panglao Island Sustainable Tourism Task Force to address issues of easement violations, water quality, sewerage, and septage in our premier tourism gateway. Allow me to recognize the members of the hotel operators who are here, and allow me to say thank you very much for your cooperation. I'm happy to report that we are more than 95% compliant with DENR imposed 2008 easement standards for Alona Beach. Congratulations sa tanan. Charles, thank you, partner. To the DENR. I foresee closer and more regular interactions between the members of this task force, as the work of maintaining Panglao in tip-top shape will be a continuing one, especially as we move to address the issue of having a marina for our boats and enforcing strictly septage, handling for resorts, hotels, hostels, transport vehicles, and boats throughout Bohol. It is not only maintaining the easement measurements, it is not only maintaining the sewerage septage on land, it is also very important to address the sewerage and septage of all the boats, thousands of boats all over Bohol. As people are swimming there in Panglao, all the boats are there. And you wonder where the septage is going. You might be swimming in it. And this is also happening even in my town in Lobok, even in the river. I used to swim in that river. So these things we need to give attention to. On protecting our underwater resources. To underscore the need to protect our valuable resources above and below the waterline, I dove in the waters of Balikasag to measure the environmental impact of unregulated diving. It is unregulated diving. I also noted the absence of water and STPs in the island, as well as the number of illegal settlers and the level of garbage in the island. Can you return that picture, that slide? That is a freshly damaged 10-inch coral branch which I found diving in shallow water. That happens when you have inexperienced divers who are trying to kick, and then when you kick, you hit a coral and you break it. A few centimeters growth of coral takes 3 to 5 years. That's a 10-inch coral there. As I was saying, the illegal settlers and the level of garbage in the island was also alarming. I visited the island together with the Coast Guard. I saw Patrick here. And the TESA, And we'll map out a strategy with the Panglao LGU, relevant agencies, and the private sector to address the issues of sanitation, sewerage, and septage on the island. Soon we will look into the issue of foreign workers with no visas, unregulated dive shop operators, and other measures preserving and conserving our underwater marine resources, not only for Balikasag, but also for the entire Bohol. Let me ad-lib there. Bohol is in the list of one of the most beautiful dive sites in the region, not in the Philippines, in the region. Yeah? That deserves a clap. That deserves our attention. That deserves our protection. Let us go into protecting our ground resources. To underscore the need to monitor the use and the exploitation of our natural or ground resources, I issued Executive Order Number 4 suspending all quarry permits and conducting an audit of quarrying operations. Our objective is to check the state of use and exploitation of our natural resources, to regulate the same. To regulate. Because remember, there is also an impact on all the roads we want to build. The cost will start shooting up. So please, we balance. We suspend because we want to monitor and we want to know who is in those operations and who is paying the right taxes. We have to know. On the issue of waste disposal, as we welcome more visitors to Bohol, we have noticed the geometric increase in our garbage, especially in our plastic litter. Grabe. In the days to come, I will convene the mayors to address the issue of the Albor landfill, as the TIESA has informed me 2 weeks ago that it is seeking an audit of the operations of the landfill, considering that the project was an initial grant from the TIESA. It was a grant from the TIESA, and they want to know now what has happened to the landfill. We will also make a plan with our mayors and stakeholders. Now, I hope you're ready for this, to ban the use of single-use plastic containers and plastic bags in Bohol in achievable phases by next year. Achievable phases. We need to talk to our mayors on how to address single-use plastic. Our national tourism officials made it very clear to me when I visited them that we must give a clear path. We have to give a clear signal. We have to give a clear plan on the issues of garbage disposal, water, sewerage, septage, afflicting Bohol today. They are challenging us. If we are to stay a sustainable tourism center in years to come, somebody has to mind the kitchen. Somebody has to do the cleanup. And they are addressing the governor to do that cleanup. And I cannot do it without the support of our beloved mayors, without all of you. The issue of power. Even the issue of power, so vitally needed at this point in time in the province, economic development has not been spared from inclusion in the pro-environment discussion. The province today maintains a no-to-coal policy and has been clear. We have been very clear in opting for clean, dependable, reliable, cost-efficient, and renewable sources of energy. This has been the work of the past administration under Governor Chato regarding the BEDAG, where we were able to convince all the distribution utilities to come together as one to bid out their power as one. So we therefore call for the distribution utilities to be transparent when they bid for their power requirements in the coming months and stay true to the aspirational plans of our people. And what are these plans? I think we have to restate it. Number one, we want an inland power source because we don't want what happened during Typhoon Haiyan to happen to us again. Kung atong mahinumduman, dili ba, nakat ang atong power for 2 months even if wata na igo sa Haiyan because Leyte was hit. So we want something in island. And of course, as we have said here, we want clean, renewable energy, because clean does not have to be renewable. See, there are differences. But more than anything else, we want reliable power as well. We have to remind everybody that these are the terms and conditions. Reliable for the private sector. How can you continue your businesses when you cannot rely? The energy is on, it is off, it is on, it is off. In the meantime, we must continue to stay close to the ERC and ensure that our initial victory of lowering our power rate charges last July will be given a second round of reductions. If you will recall, barely 2 weeks into my office, I was forced to act and make representations with the ERC together with former Governor EMC, Ed Chato, and our distribution utilities regarding the exorbitant charging of electric rates. Suddenly, we woke up and all our electric rates charges were up by 30 to 40%. As it happened, our intervention was able to highlight the erroneous way of computing power charges, which gave way to an initial price reduction on our bills. But that's just initial. There's still a second round. There is still a second round of reductions underway, which will not only affect Bohol, but will also affect other provinces due to the adjustments that will be made to the computation. Remember, we explained it to you that there is a net surplus settlement problem on the first round of computation. That was returned to us. Then on the second level of computations, what they did was they took what we use over our basic power demand of 90 megawatts, the spike, they took that and they charged the rate on the entire power. That's why we had such an increase in our power rates. Governor Ed and I explained to the ERC, should you not charge us only on the excess that we used up? Why are you charging our entire power consumption? And then they realized they were doing this to the entire country. I remember asking them, you mean to tell me the Bolanon consumer has been subsidizing the Republic of the Philippines? I want a refund. There are other critical concerns for a tourism economy, because we have to ensure that the tourism economy remains vibrant for all our clients. There are other outstanding issues. Number one, our culinary experience, our food, has to be addressed. Transportation accessibility has to be addressed. Physical and digital connectivity. Upgrading our labor services sector. And deepening the unique experience of Bohol through our faith and culture-based tourism. Aside from the discussions on water, sewerage, septage, these are the critical things that need to be addressed. On the issue of physical and digital connectivity, in the last 2 months, we have been meeting with the transport groups, the LTFRB and the LTO, and we will soon launch a system to unify and standardize the operations and rates of transportation in major tourism areas, professionalize transport accessibility, and rationalize the charging of rates. We confirm that the LTO and the LTFRB will be coming to Bohol upon the invitation of the provincial government to set up operations locally. But the important thing is to integrate. Many of you have traveled around the world. What meets you when you get out of the airport? Very, very orderly transportation rates. Transportation with uniform rates. This is something we have to work on. The vision is when you come to Bohol, when you go out of the airport or out of the ports, our transportation system is united. They all look good. The vehicles are clean. People are in uniform. The rates are uniform. That's the experience you want for Bohol, is it not? Neither will we forsake transportation connectivity to other destinations. We cannot. We all know that transportation is all about connectivity. Right now, we have an airport, and that's why southern Bohol can feel the impact of the airport. But northern Bohol remains poor, but cannot wait. It must look to Cebu for the market. And that is why I'm happy to announce that the PPA, is James Gantalao here? Is the PPA here? Why are they not here? They're very... You're with the PPA? Sugatong sa Masipang Pakpak, Philippine Port Authority. Please remind him, the commitment. To Bigon Port, the Bigon Port's getting 400 million for the expansion, correct? Mind that. Katakbakan Port in Loon, Maribohok Port, should be on schedule. Hagna Port as well, cannot forsake, that's our connectivity to northern Mindanao. Ubay Port, I understand the Tapal Wharf is getting what, 200 plus million to expand Tapal Wharf, as well as the opening of the Getafe Port, 95 million, Getafe Port, okay? The Loon and the Getafe ports this early are already being designated as possible future cruise terminal ports. However, let me assure CPG, Carlos P. Garcia, Mayor Iping is here. We are committed to ensure that CPG will not be left behind, for which reason we will be asking the PPA to fund the development of Agining Port as a gateway to Leyte and port to connect to Tapal Wharf in Ubay, because this cannot be so. We cannot allow this. I will not allow that we only develop Ubay Port. If you develop Ubay Port, it will go straight to Maasin Southern Leyte, leaving behind Carlos P. Garcia. So Carlos P. Garcia must be part of the connection. If not, Carlos P. Garcia will remain to be very much economically challenged in the days to come. We will abandon one of our towns, which we cannot do. That's the economic reason for including them into the main highway. Transportation connectivity is the only sure way to ensure a steady and increasing stream of tourists to Bohol. It's the only way. Just keep all your gateways open. For which reason, the provincial government is ready to invest in these infrastructures together with counterpart national agencies if need be. I repeat that. If the provincial government has to borrow money and to invest keeping Bohol open, we will borrow money to keep it open. We will invest. Connectivity must also encompass digital connectivity in this Wi-Fi connected world, for which reason the provincial government will continue engaging mobile phone and data companies to strengthen and expand their services in Bohol. This is a major challenge, but the technology is there. With microwave technology, you don't even need a telco. Am I right? You can just go to data. You can use your WhatsApp, your WeChat, you can use your Viber, you can watch your movies just on data. You try driving through the two main highways of Panglao, coming into Tagbilaran. Better yet, I will ask Governor Ed Chato and Vice Governor Rene to share with you their list of signal-less parts of Bohol. They know that. Yeah, it's so uncanny. I'm talking to Rene. Partner, makakat na ako ah. How do you know? I know this place. Walang signal dito. Same with Governor Ed. So, I hope you can share that list with our people. But we have to find a way to address that issue. Let's go to our culinary traditions, because this is very critical, you know. You cannot be a tourism center if you don't have good food. Dili ba when you land in a foreign country, your first interaction to the country's culture is through the food? Huh? We must also deepen the Bohol culinary experience by finding champions of our cuisine. Champions of our cuisine. Do we have a champion of our cuisine? You know, in Pampanga, they have this lady, si Borromeo, who's a champion of Pampanga cuisine. Then she invites you to her kitchen. She cooks and shows you how she cooks Kapampangan dishes. We must find champions. Each of our town mayors here, I'm sure you have your own champions. And as we build the tourism circuit in your area, we have to trigger those champions. We have to trigger these champions to pass down the traditions through a provincial culinary program. The provincial government must institute a program of taking all of these recipes and videoing all of these champions. We will institutionalize this program when we build our own TechVoc training facilities for HRM services in one of our provincial-owned properties. Okay. I will not say more on that. At the right time, we will announce it when it's already concrete. Because it is time to establish a provincial training institute in partnership with the private sector so our youth and our middle managers can continuously undergo training and practicums to upgrade skills and knowledge. Today's travelers want authentic sensory experiences. We must afford that through unobtrusive, quiet, reliable, efficient, and affordable services. I mean, my question to you is, are we going to own up to this or not? Huh? I mean, is Bohol going to stay as a tourism center or not? If we are, no choice, ladies and gentlemen, we have to do this. We have to clean up. And we have to give people good food. However, we must be mindful that our culinary traditions and innovations is only a function of how strong our agriculture and fisheries program is. How can you say you will give fantastic food when you are only producing 1/3 of your fish production? When 60% of all of your agricultural fields have no water? See the relationship? This is the reason why our agriculture and fisheries program must focus on land consolidation to produce food in scale and lower the cost. We need to consolidate. That's why when Larry Pamugas comes to me for assistance for agri, I always tell him how big an area and how many farmers involved. You cannot bring down the cost of food when you are producing food in little packets. You have to consolidate. For this to happen, we must be able to afford assistance to our farmers from farm to table. Water is critical. Financing for our farmers. Financing for seeds and inputs, post-harvest machineries, and finding marketing partners for our farmers. You have to find them a marketing partner. It's not enough you give them water and seeds. You have to find them the marketing farmer. Sustainable farms will then be partnered with hotels. Sustainable farms will then be partnered with hotels and resorts to give our farm communities direct access to the tourism market, and our hotel operators will have a new attraction to offer our visitors. All over the world, is it not? The trend is right now, farm tourism, dili ba? So as you're investing in water, investing in the farms, and linking them with the farmers, linking them with the markets and the hotel operators, I want to invest now in the towns for your markets. You need to invest in public markets. In other parts of the world, public markets are not wet and dirty and smelly. They are tourism destinations. Investing in town markets will be part of this strategy. Markets today do not only serve to make agricultural commerce vibrant and active, but become tourist destinations themselves, showcasing not only food, but providing a center to sell our one town, one product wares. These initiatives will open more income streams to our farmers beyond farm activities. You have to open new streams of income to our farmers. You know why they're buying our fish from Cebu? You know why? Because we don't have strong markets to do the trade. Where are the major centers of fish production in northern Bohol? You've got Bienvenido, Talibon, Getafe, and Buena Vista. Getafe and Buena Vista are very strong. But Talibon is the model. Talibon is stronger because it's got a strong public market. And that's why I was telling Mayor Kasoy, we do not only open your port, we have to develop your market as well. Buena Vista is actually shorter to Cebu than Getafe. We have to open tourism opportunities because when Getafe, Tubigon, Buena Vista, all of those markets open up with Loon and Maribojoc, that entire area of Bohol, 30 to 40% of the towns will open up. And where will the tourists go? I ask you. They want to eat. You don't have a market. But you have a market, and you have ice, and you have a bañera, and you're willing to pay cash, you can compete with Cebu. That's cheap, huh? I did not say refrigeration storage warehouse. No, I said ice making machine. You've got ice, you've got bañera, you've got a public market, you're willing to pay cash, you can compete with Cebu. If not, we will continue to have this situation where our fish are bought and consolidated in Cebu and re-exported back to us here in Bohol. Let me move to drawing inspiration from culture and our faith. Because that's what the DOT said. That's what makes you special. You have your beaches, your rivers, you've got your mangroves. But more than anything else, you've got your culture and your faith. All in a small area. That's what makes you special. Aside from the natural wonders God has given Bohol, man's God-given talents are showcased in the soaring cathedrals that dot Bohol. Hundreds of years of faith and piety can be seen in more than a dozen national historical churches and culturally important properties. These in turn have given to unique traditions like the Daigon and the Belen, which we are showcasing this Christmas in our Christmas market to be held in the Carlos P. Garcia Park. Beyond the Belens and the Daigons, we will also be showcasing Bolanon food and handicrafts, wares and accessories curated by Bohol's young entrepreneurs. Yeah, those are the young entrepreneurs. You've got Dalarich, you've got Duke Minosa, you've got Shobe Uy. And they represent a lot of young entrepreneurs who want to package our produce and come up with the handicrafts. You know, Duke, I campaigned with Duke Minosa with his coffee. I was telling people, coffee, 87 pesos per kilo of coffee bean. Huh? Sagulan nimo og mga aromatic ingredients. Ayuhon ang pagputos sagulan og maayong kwento. Ibaligya nimo 87 pesos becomes 1,600 per kilo. That is Duke Menyosa, Benaventura Farms. Dalarich, our cacao. She turns into chocolate. Award winner from Europe. There are many talented young entrepreneurs. That's why I challenge the Bohol Chamber to develop our new talents. But our Christmas music, art, and festivals will not end with the Candelaria. We will go on throughout the year with our Visita Iglesia, where we will welcome and inspire visitors the whole year through. In 2021, we are going to celebrate 500 years of Christ coming to the Philippines. And Bohol has a special place to play, because nowhere in the Philippines can you find that kind of density of national historical churches, that kind of culture, that kind of treasure. And we have to welcome the world. 500 years of Christianity. Let us give them a taste of Christianity in the Philippines through our churches. We must also create more tourism circuits. So the factors we have discussed right now are very important in creating a viable and sustainable tourism sector. We have been talking about food, we're talking about water, we're talking about sewerage, we're talking about handicrafts, all of this, we're talking about electricity. All of these are the critical things that you need for a tourism circuit. If you go through our current circuit, our countryside tour, all of those components are there, and we have to strengthen that. So all of these factors that we have been talking about, they have to be embedded in every tourism circuit Bohol presently has, and Bohol will further create. The present countryside tour of Baclayon to Carmen must be strengthened with these and new attractions. While the Abatan municipalities of Balilihan, Cortes, Maribojoc, Antequera, and Catigbian must now come together to provide a daytime and evening package to afford tourists a new experience. Di naman pwede na walang kamatayan na countryside tour. We have to find new complementary tourism circuits. 2 years down the road, we are hoping that the ports of Getafe, Tubigon, Loon, Maribojoc, and possibly Buenavista will be providing additional gateways to Bohol. This will now afford more than 30 to 40% of Bohol's municipalities a chance to showcase their products, sights, and sounds. But still, as I said, the basic considerations, environment, water, power, connectivity, food, skills upgrading. Bisan asa, you need this. And I will not tire of reminding and pounding the table to remind you. We cannot sell your circuit unless you have that. You need that. That are the basic ingredients. But that having been said, we cannot stay with the countryside tour. We have to open up. That's why the Abatan municipalities have to open up. That's why we have to fund, Mr. Governor, the integrated coconut hub. Because Balilihan will be our center for integrated coconut operations, and Antequera has to be resurgent as the basket weaving handicraft center to pull Catigbian, San Isidro, and the other economies there. That is closest to your market now. You strengthen the countryside tour and you find a new tour. As they are doing that, we are concentrating on opening the ports. As we open up the ports, all the municipalities up there must prepare. Sagbayan has to prepare. Danao has to prepare. San Miguel has to prepare. Ubay has to prepare. Talibon, Bienvenido. When those open up, all of those coming down to Chocolate Hills must be prepared. Carmen is not the only place you can see the Chocolate Hills. You can see it in Sagbayan and Batuan. If we stay with just this countryside tour that we have right now, only southern Bohol gets developed. We have to move up and create new circuits. To highlight the beauty of our natural and physical terrain, and in the hopes of creating tourism sports circuit, I have asked our sports associations to submit for 2020 an annual plan to hold sports events as a means to increase tourist arrivals. and encourage youth participation to prepare them for possible inclusion in our regional and national sports teams. We have the training ground. We just need the athletes. We need to support them. Events will be held province-wide. That's why they have to submit an annual sports calendar, which cannot clash with our cultural and religious celebrations. That's why I need to give me all the annual calendar so we can now harmonize all the schedules. We cannot be competing with each other. More importantly, this is an effort to use the culture of sports to keep our youth away from drugs. We need to keep the youth away from drugs. Depression leading to suicides. And instill in them good virtues to prepare them for the larger game of life. In the past 3 months, I have made it a habit to conduct personal town hall meetings all over Bohol under the banner program, Tingog sa mga Bolanon. Sulod sa niaging tulo ka bulan, atong gihimo ang mga konsultasyon sa mga barangay diin personal natong gikaatubang sa katawhan ubos sa atong programa nga Tingog sa mga Bolanon. Akong gisiguro nga, haduol ako sa katawhang Bolanon, dili lamang sa paghatod sa nagunang panginahanglan, primary assistance, pinaagi sa mga ayuda sa atong mga kaigsuon ng Bolanon, kundili ato usab gisiguro nga aniya kita andam maminaw sa ilang mga yango-ngo ug ubang panginahanglan aron usab mahatagan nato og pagtagad. There are other complaints. Sa pagkakaroon kapin sa 50 ka barangay na ang nakabisita sa Kapitolyo. Every week, I encourage barangays to come to the Capitol. And aside from that, personal na 50 ka barangay, more than 50 other barangays, personal kong nabisitahan pod sa 15 ka mga lungsod. Kasagaran ni ini, tuwa sa hilit nga mga dapit ug mga isla. We have to visit the poorest of the poor, and they are in the islands. That's why every week I try to give a little time to them. Sa akong personal nga pagbisita sa mga naglisod nga mga barangay, ang tingog sa mga katawhan, nag-auhag kanato nga hatagan og pagtagad ang ilang panginahanglan sa medikal, edukasyon ug rural nga kalambuan sa dali nga panahon. They want it now. And because of our visits all over the province, it is these engagements which prodded me to submit to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan more than 400 million pesos in equipment and infrastructure modernization for the province's 10 hospitals. That is the state of our hospitals today. Take a look. I want you to be hurt by these pictures. I want you to get angry with these pictures. I saw somebody who had to bring his own catre. And I would like to thank GovEd because in his time, the recommendation was to close half of our hospitals, but GovEd did not allow. The initial investments in our hospitals came in 2011, 2012. And then in 2017, GovEd tried to do his best, but because of all the complications prior to the elections, our loans did not materialize. They were actually blocked, but that's another story. Look at that, unfinished hospitals, people in corridors. What kind of a government will allow your people to be treated that way? Are you not angry? Are you not hurt? I am hurt. I am angry when I see those pictures. That's why I keep on visiting the hospitals. Anyway, we are going to spend immediately 400 million to modernize all our hospitals. Included in that initiative is the pay upgrade of our nurses and physicians so we can keep up with government pay. Having said that, I ask the support of our government nurses and our doctors. We cannot just immediately jump and go equal with the pay of the national. It will bankrupt the province. One step at a time. We will give. We will bring it up higher. Dr. Torrefranca, tabang, ikaw palihog ha. Ikaw, mo explain ha. But we will increase. New ambulances on land or on sea and new hospital diagnostic equipment shall be the centerpiece of this modernization plan. Expanding academic scholarships and job opportunities for the youth. The desire of our youth to be educated cannot also be stemmed. The youth are clamoring for more scholarship and internship funds, and I am not one to let them down. In less than 3 months, I have sat as your governor. I have accommodated more than 5,000 young Bolanons in the DOLE's government internship program, secured while I was still Deputy Speaker at the time, but being implemented today. Today, the mass employment we have given our youth in the last month alone is unprecedented. It is the biggest in Central Visayas history. I am honoring our Padayon Bulanon campaign pledge to increase academic scholarships. I am submitting to our Sangguniang Panalawigan under the leadership of Vice Governor Rene a budget that will increase our scholarships by 50% in the coming 3 years, in stages. I am sure he will champion this because he championed the cause of scholarships when he was governor. When he was governor, he founded the Carlos P. Garcia Scholarships. Partner, you really look like a cleric there, huh? And his vice governor was former Governor Ed, many summers ago. Oh, that's them there. That's the old MEB team. Many are still alive and are with us. God, look at all of you. So young and full of promise, huh? As I have said, connectivity is everything to tourism and to trade. Mao nga, kinahanglan ipadayon nato ang pag-abli nato sa mga barangay roads nato. Hinterland barangays are very critical. We must open that up. And that's the reason why I am submitting to the provincial government, to the SP, in the budget this October, the amount of more than 200 million pesos for the procurement and the upgrading of all our road building equipment. Our objective is to achieve basing 2 fleets of road building equipment per district at the disposal of the municipalities there. I just have a few more, 2 more. Establishment of an innovation hub and a business assistance center for entrepreneurs. We must also reiterate that government's job is to level the playing field and create the environment for the private sector to invest and to create jobs for all. It is therefore time to build an innovation and an incubation center for our entrepreneurs. So in a one-stop facility, our entrepreneurs can plan new products, they can work on their pricing, and then they can package and meet clients, seal partnerships, and roll off new and innovative products. We must also accept the reality that it is still very difficult, even with significant efforts being expended to deal with the government in securing permits and clearances. Kinalisuran. For this reason, the provincial government will put up an innovation center together with the DTI and other relevant government agencies, not only to get new ideas and to turn them into products, but to assist entrepreneurs to set up shop and begin operations through a Bohol Innovation Hub with a built-in business assistance center. We were talking about young entrepreneurs. We have to give them a home. Young entrepreneurs must have a place where they can develop and package their products, do their logos, their brand name, register it. And if we in Bohol, we want to create more jobs, it is our interest to help every business to open on time. And that's why we need to put up not only an innovation hub, but an assistance center for the permits, fees, and charges that our businessmen need. Finally, to transform all of these things to reality, we need funds, we need competence, and we need partnerships. Funds, competence, and partnerships. We may have fantastic plans, but without funds and clear plans to run by competent people and supported by all of you, then plans merely stay in the blueprint stage. For this reason, we must continually engage national agencies, government financial institutions, as well as multilateral agencies like the World Bank and the ADB, among others, for budgetary support, loans, and capacity building funds. We already have the INREMP for environment. We have the PRDP from the World Bank for our agriculture. But I would like to proudly announce to all of you that a new $300 million facility of the World Bank is going to be extended to 5 provinces. And the DOT has intimated to me that they are looking to Bohol to lead the way in accessing these funds. Without JICA, would we have had an airport? Without KOICA of Korea, would we have the Pilar processing plant? By the way, Larry, KOICA, when? $6 million in Carmen, please. They will be investing in post-harvest facilities there. That's through KOICA. Because of the hard work of the past administration, PAA and Governor Ed, together with JICA, they're giving for free bulk water, sewerage facilities for Panglao. Libre na. That is the reason why we have to continue engaging multilateral agencies. Our ability to source project funds will be severely tested and will call for the creation of a new office just focused for that objective. We need an office whose concentration is just to source funds for the province of Bohol. On the issue of internally generated funds, the provincial government must have a tight hold on its financial situation, maximize commercial opportunities and assets, and practice prudent fiscal discipline. I go around and I see so many of our prime provincial assets that can be turned around to use for the province and to generate income. In my time, I will pursue a very aggressive program to increase the province's revenue base, starting with a plan to submit to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan a plan to look at every facet of income streams to the provincial coffers and maximizing them for use in our programs. Together with funds generation, so you've got funds. Capacity building and training cannot be overemphasized for our provincial SP and LGU officials. We must have the competence to understand trends and issues. We must have the discipline to source and survey data. We must be able to confront these issues, and all our LGU teams must have the skills to draw up the plans to address current and future challenges of our province. We accept the thesis that we cannot be a tourism center in the region unless our officials know the ways of the world. How can you say that we want to be a tourism center when our public officials, our LGU officials, our municipal tourism, our municipal environment officials do not know the ways of the world and the demands of the market? We have to spend money to train them. I put money in my budget. I ask the mayors to put money in their budget. For this reason, we have no alternative but to fully support the technical training and travel needs of our employees and officials. Training and travel is the best way to educate somebody. Supporting our officials means we must be ready to reform our government platforms, our procedures, our hierarchy, and structures to promote best practices and ease of doing business. Supporting our employees does not only mean we train them. Supporting our employees also means looking at their own critical needs. Di naman pwede na kanunay trabaho. We have to look at their needs as well. In the provincial government, we have launched a health card program and a housing program for our employees. We will not be able to do half of what we have planned if our employees are not competent or if our employees are not motivated. In that regard, to assure each striving employee the chance for promotion and advancement, we will finish our plans of consolidating and collapsing positions. Where possible, we will consolidate positions, we will collapse positions in time to submit to the Sangguniang Panlalawigan for a right-sizing bill for the provincial government. Beyond funds and competence, building a broad alliance of partnerships with the Sangguniang Panlalawigan, our municipal mayors, our councils, our barangay councils, the church. I'd like to recognize Bishop Abets with us. Good afternoon, Bishop. Sugatong sa masipang pakpak si Bishop Abets. Civil society, the military, the Philippine National Police, Colonel Cabal. All of this will be key to our success. Our plans for agritourism, ecotourism, faith-based tourism, all of this will not be fulfilled without all of these partnerships. Key among these partnerships are those involving our security and disaster preparedness posture. Allow me then to announce that Tarsier 117 will be expanded around Bohol and their equipment and training needs supported. I mean, what would we be after the Linog if we cannot rise back up? We have to be able to rise back up. I am further happy to announce that Bohol has been established as the Visayas Army Training Center in Tubigon and is working to be established as the Philippine Army's Riverine Training School Center in the country. Our partnership with the Coast Guard is resurgent with the establishment of a radar station in Balikasag and are facilitating the establishment of a new Coast Guard training facility in San Agustin, Talibon. Not to be outdone, the Philippine National Police has established 2 companies of Special Action Force in Batuan and Mabini. Orchestrating this will be a central command center that will integrate security operations with disaster preparedness. You must be able to tell every tourist who comes to Bohol, Simba ko daay pahitabo, we can save you. That is what you should be able to tell every tourist. That's why we have to expand Tarsier 117. That's why we have to reform all our hospitals and give them the ambulances as well. Simba ko naay mahitabo. We can save you if you are in Bohol. Including our diving chambers. You want to promote your scuba diving? Wakay chamber? Thank you. You must be a diver. Sa katapusan, ang panglantaw ug plano sa kaugmaron sa atong probinsya alang sa tanan ug angay nga masabtan sa tanan. Aron kitang tanan magtinabangay sa pagpahiluna ug pagtuman niini. This plan belongs to all of us. And this plan must be implemented by all of us. The job of selling and promoting our province does not belong to the governor or the provincial government alone. It must be a shared responsibility between the provincial government, our mayors, civil society, the private sector, and to a certain extent, the religious community. Selling Bohol belongs to all of us. The mayors, most of all. Mayors, most of all, will lead in our selling missions next year, so they will be exposed to the demands of the tourism market. Give them a round of applause. The Department of Tourism is already mapping out a selling program where our mayors, together with their tourism officers and the provincial government, will be responsible for selling Bohol. We cannot be dependent on only one market, which is China. Something happens, it's not wise to depend on one market. We must go to Japan, we must go to Korea, we must go to China, we must tap Europe. And who best to sell their municipalities than the mayors themselves? At least they will now know the demands of the tourism industry. So I need their help. Sa paghuman sa unang usa ka gatos nga adlaw sa pangutungdanan sa administrasyong Yap Relampagos, akong simplihon ang mga programa sa atong panggobyerno. Number 1, pag-amuma sa mga hinay ug huyang nga mga bulanon. That's the first. Take care of the weakest amongst us. You cannot be a strong province if you cannot take care of the weak. Number 2, pagkonserba ug protekta sa atong kinaiyahan. Why? It is the only capital you have. You want to be a tourism province? The only capital is your kinaiyahan. Number 3, pagpukaw sa bulanong kultura. This is what makes us special. Number 4, pagpadako sa ekonomiya sa turismo. Aron mapatuman kining tanan ug makabot nato ang mga panglantaw. Tuguti ko nga muhangyo kaninyo ug musulti kaninyo sa mga pulong agikan sa akong kasing-kasing. Let me share a few words from my heart. Ang akong hangyo ninyong tanan, ubani ko, tabangi ko, hawit sa akong kamot alang sa pakighiusa ug pakigalayon. Pwede ba? Move on tang tanan. Move on. Ug atong ipalayo ang pagpangita ug sayop sa gobyerno ug likayan nato ang grabeng pamulitika. Sa atong pagpakabuhi ni ining kalibutan. Ang atong tumong, mao lamang ang kaayuhan sa katawhan. Ang atong pag-ampo, nga unta ipalayo sa peligro ang atong mga minahal sa kinabuhi, dili ba? Ang atong pangandoy mao ang kalambuan sa atong mahal nga lalawigang bulanon ug nasod nga Pilipinon. Samtang kitang tanan magpuyo nga malinawon ni ining kalibutan. That is all we ask for in this life, the welfare of others, the safety of our loved ones. And we pray for our province and our country while we live in peace. Are these not our most important ideals? Sa akong mga kauban sa buhat, akong ipahinumdum kaninyong tanan ang gihangyo nato ni President Rodrigo Roa Duterte sa iyang 2019 SONA. I implore those who occupy positions of power and authority to let your deeds and accomplishments do the talking. Lead by example. Words ring hollow when not followed by positive and prioritized action. Lead by example. Buhat ang pasultion, dili sulti ang pabuhaton. Maghang salamat kaninyong tanan.